Michelle. Welcome to Spark TV.
Hi, it's great to be here.
It's so lovely to have you here. I'm so excited to share your story with the beautiful Spark community. Let's kick things off by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Well, my name's Michelle Greenshields, and I'm a self-relationship coach and root cause therapist. And I basically help busy professional women get to the core of exactly what they desire and help design an intentionally led and purpose-led life.
Oh, I love that so much. I think that, gosh, if we could teach that in school, like, people understanding what they actually want out of life and creating their life with intention rather than just, oh, I need to pick this career and that's what my mom told me to do, or I was good at school or whatever. I just think our world would be a better place. So that is so exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've found that over the years, people are looking for more and they're not just settling for mediocre. There's a push to actually move into something more exciting and aligned with what you truly desire.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I even find that of myself through different seasons of business where I kind of get disconnected from what I'm doing. And then it takes me quite a while to go, oh no, that's the mission. That's the thing. I can really get behind that and then start running again. So that idea of like stopping and figuring out what you want, I think is just so powerful.
It sure is. It is. And I find so the women that I work with are professional women or womenpreneurs that are going into business themselves. And there's so many different parts of our life that are pulling us in all different directions. And to actually sit down and have a really clear path about what you really want, what actually excites you, and what you're good at, and what your values are, and aligning with that, that is where you don't have to be motivated to get up in the morning, and you don't have to
Mm.
push yourself, or you don't need that external drive because you're being purpose led and you're passionate about what you do. So it's really important that you are able to focus on those areas of your life and looking at it in a really simple but really clear way in where it is that you need to change from where you are to where
Mhm.
you actually want to get. So it's different for, it's funny, the journey is different for everyone, but
Mm.
it's the same for everyone at the same time.
So
So
if someone's listening in right now and they're like, "Oh my God, I this is me. I am lost. I don't know what I'm doing with my life." Is there somewhere that you start with people, or is there somewhere where you kind of, give people a bit of a nudge to be able to reflect?
absolutely. So it people come for different things, different reasons, but they're all there for the same thing. They're wanting that happiness. So what we start with is analysing exactly where you're at the moment and looking at all the 8 different aspects of your life. So your financial security, your career, um, your social, your family, your relationships. So there's 8 different areas, and we analyze what's working well and what isn't. And the way that my coaching starts is where you're at now. We look back and get an observational view of of why and where you're at and the reasons you're where you're at. And then we look forward, so beginning with the end in mind and what it is that you truly want to create. And then we work from there. When you've got a really clear picture in your mind about what you desire, it's easy to get there. If you don't know where you want to go and you don't know what you want, well, it's really difficult to get there. So, but my business started, uh, I guess, recently in the last 4 years. And it all came about. I was marketing manager for a ASX listed company, and had three small children. I was in a meeting and the office manager came in and said, Michelle, the school's on the phone. And in that moment, I thought, oh, I've got three boys, so one's hurt again. And she saw the look on my face and she said, oh, it's actually 4 o'clock. And I had forgotten. I'd been so
Oh,
busy, so distracted, I had forgotten to pick them up. And it was in that moment the mother guilt kicks in and washes over you, racing off to pick them up, and all these things going through my mind of how could you do this? Like you've got all this, you're supposed to have all this figured out. How can you forget your kids? And it was from that moment that I thought this has got to change. Like I had a good life. I had a great life and good job, and we used to go on holidays, but I was completely disconnected to who I was and what I desired. And it was when I started to go on that internal journey, I realized how past trauma can actually be affecting you in your everyday life. And I found root cause therapy. And then from there, that's basically where I've come from, where I'm able to support women that may be in a position you feel like you've got this good life and but you feel like there's something missing. And so that's where I'm able to help women now.
oh my
So
God, you're making me want to cry.
every time I tell that story, I just that shame and that guilt comes back up again, and it was such a big event that has helped shift me into a place where I'm able to, and where I've reconnected to what drives me. So, and where what I'm passionate about. So it usually there's got to be a low for the high. So, um, but not only that, for the past 21 years, my husband and I have also got our own business. So
Oh
it's
my
been,
God, what? Another one.
well, a company, we've got a landscape construction company, but what I've found is it's when you're actually the solo owner of your business, there's so many different aspects that you need to focus on, and your attention easily gets moved away from, again, what we were talking about earlier is the key focus areas and what you want to achieve in your business. So it's been a journey for me, I guess, in a way, when you're working solo, where opposed to when you're actually a business partner and you've got someone to bounce ideas off. So you're wholly and solely responsible for every aspect of the business.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that just stood out for me when you were talking was when you said that you had a great life. So, and I think that's one thing that's really interesting is a lot of people, and I know I struggle with this as well, as I go, I should be grateful for what we have. I should be, and how bad a person am I that I'm not satisfied with all of the amazing things we have and amazing things we do and the amazing husband I have. And I go, it's just, there is something missing and there's not enough. And there's this relentless pursuit of something. But I love how you distilled that into, figuring out and finding what your purpose is and healing. And then, I guess it's just that re-aiming your life in a direction, right? And being able to connect with something that you're working towards.
Well, especially as women, we
Mm.
do we compare ourselves to others and say, oh, well, life is good for me. And you feel like, oh, I'm ungrateful if I want more, but you only get one shot at this. So it's so important that everything that you do in every aspect is aligned with what you truly desire. And it really is, it is quite simple. But I think what happens is from a young age, we get caught in this society cycle where it's like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what we perceive as the right pathway. So you go to school and then go to uni and then you get a good job and you work 9 to 5 until you retire. You might have a couple of kids or you might not. But we have this way of being able to, we set up strategies for all these aspects outside ourselves. So we set up business strategies and we set up financial strategies, and if we're going on a holiday, we plan for all this stuff, which is great, but it's all outside of ourselves.
Mm.
Whereas we don't usually stop and take the time to say, okay, who am I really? Like, am I responding to something that I feel is true, but it's actually not true for me? And I'm talking now like limiting beliefs and patterns and thought processes that come right through childhood with us. And and we get to a point, I believe, sort of in our 30s to 40s, where we start reassessing, because we do want more, and it's okay to want more, and we really deserve to live our best life. And even if you've got a good job and you think, oh, but I'd really love to help people, or it's just not, it's good, but it's not exactly what you want to do. You deserve to actually have the life that you truly desire. And that's what I've found, that, and it's taken me a long time, but the reason that I started my business is I'm late 40s now, and if I can help people 10, 15 years, like when I was 10, 15 years ago, help to start putting these processes in place where they can start earlier, instead of waiting or regretting getting to later in life. Usually it's the women, my clients are women that are going through difficult life transitions, divorce, grief is a big one, where we've lost someone important in our lives. And so it's really important to get clear on all these different aspects. And I've created a framework in which people can, we go through it and then they can see where they're at. So there's 6 stages, and we look at exactly where we're at and where we need to begin. And that's basically building a really strong foundation to who you are, and understanding what it is that you truly desire. So it's basically, from my experience, being able to support others to create, but a lot quicker, a lot sooner than what I did. So it's it's I feel like it's really important, and I'm really passionate about it.
Oh my God, I can tell. I love this so much. And I just love that, oftentimes as women in business, we are sitting by ourselves in our home office and it's just us and our thoughts. And, sometimes our thoughts are not very nice and sometimes they spiral and sometimes they go around in circles. And I just love having someone like you as a guide that can really help us understand where we have been, what we're going through, where we want to get to. But sometimes you can't ask yourself those questions. Sometimes you can't objectively look at your life, but having someone like you who is a guide is just so powerful to get to, the root cause. And also I just love how you said we should want more, we should want it all, we should, because we should. And I love that you are giving women permission to live their best lives, because again, I think that women, when we are given that permission, or we give that permission to ourselves, we actually do awesome things and often really impactful in our communities.
Oh, absolutely. You know firsthand what it's like when women are thriving together. They can create amazing things. And sometimes it takes someone else being able to see that brilliance inside you. There's so many women out there that aren't confident enough to step into what all their offerings and things that they can help other people. It's because they're stuck in those old belief systems. And when you've got something to share, even if you can help one more person, and it's often that other women can see the beauty and the value and what you can offer to others. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need someone to tease that out of you to step into something bigger and better than something that you couldn't even possibly imagine. And yeah, it's really incredible seeing where some women start from and where they end up and what they've created, because that's what happens. It's like you start to bloom. You're like this beautiful seed that or bud that's ready to open up. And once you've got that permission, like you said, it's like the world is your oyster.
Yeah, it is so true. And I mean, maybe a little sad that we need permission sometimes to step into our brilliance. But I think it's just reality, right? There's so much noise in the world. There's so much comparison when we look at social media. There's so much baggage we're dragging from our childhood that you were so right. I love that when you said sometimes you just need to tease out that little brilliance in there
Yeah,
because it is just that, it doesn't have to be, your empire tomorrow. It is how do you take the first step and know the direction you're heading in?
absolutely. And usually that's all it is. It's getting rid of the distractions and the all the things that you think that you're supposed to be doing, and just getting really, really super clear on what it is that you're desiring, and basically making a plan. That's all it is. But I think where we get stuck, or where the problem is, like from a balance point of view, trying to balance your personal and your professional life, and trying to be everything to everyone, and be all these places, and be the best mum and the best friend and daughter. And you get we get pulled from pillar to post in every aspect of our life. And and really what it is, it's what you said. It's giving yourself permission to actually reconnect to who you truly are and what you truly desire. And basically, as soon as that alignment happens, it's the perfect marriage. Like you start to look at things differently. You start leaving all the things out of your life that aren't doing a good service. So whether it's music or TV or people or
Mm.
places or food or alcohol, whatever it might be, you start getting really selective about what you will have in your life and what you won't have in your life. And that in itself is a huge thing, that when people start to go, start to notice, when I spend time with that person, I feel really depleted, or when I see this person, I feel amazing. I feel like I can conquer the world. So it's all about understanding and reconnecting back to your authentic self. So I help people change their self relationship so they can transform their life. And 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 that's basically it. Like, it's really simple. So
It's so,
uh,
I mean, I love that you say that it's simple because I know that over the last, 4 years in business, you would have refined the message, but it's so powerful. I feel like yes, it's simple. And in practice, you're guiding someone through a framework. But I just, think about my own life. I think about the women in business that I speak to, and a lot of times in business we kind of keep going because there's this opportunity cost, like, well, I started, I've got to, what will people think, all the things like. But I know you're saying it's simple, but I think it's just so powerful for people. I think that, you know this is for everyone. I mean, I'm literally thinking about a conversation I had with my sister on the weekend, and she's not a business owner, she's an employee, but at that stage in life where she's kind of a little stuck, right? And I think that it is that, well, I studied this, I traveled here, now I'm in this job, and I'm not where I thought I was going to be, but I don't even think she knows where she wants to be to even be taking the appropriate steps. So I just think this work is so powerful on so many levels for so many people.
Absolutely. And this is the thing that it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s or 50s. When you decide that you want more,
Mm.
then all you need to do is actually really look at where you're at right now and where you want to be. There are there are so many little things along the way that I can support people with, as far as uh, giving them the systems and processes to actually dive into those aspects of yourself. But it's really that simple. It's like, okay, where am I right now? And where do I want to be? And this can be a bit confronting for some people, but one of the most powerful things that I ever did when I was in my early 20s, we had a business mentor from the States in the role. I was a national account exec at a print and design agency, and we had this business mentor. And one of the very first modules that I had to do was write my own eulogy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so I'm going to say I was about 24, 25, and I remember doing this. Now, the amazing thing is that eulogy is coming true. So
Wow.
now I'm at the end of, like, getting toward the end of my 40s, but everything that I wrote in that eulogy is where I'm at now. So whether I consciously or subconsciously knew that at the time, but Stephen Covey talks about the 7 habits of highly effective people or successful people, and he always says start with the end in mind. And
Yes.
although a lot of people don't like thinking about death, but let's face it, that's the only uh, thing that we know that's actually
Certainty.
going to
Yeah. Yep.
it's coming, unfortunately. But what the beauty about that is you get so clear
Mm.
and specific about what it is. And when you do that, you will transform your life. So your life in the very moment that you choose different from right now.
Yeah.
So it's very powerful. And if you can imagine just one person changing their life and the flow on effect that that has in their life, so their immediate family, their children watching, whether it's their mum or dad, step into this different person, this more alive, this more passionate, this more connected person, that flow on effects doesn't just
Mm.
help this generation, it starts helping the other generations as well. And it is really, really powerful work, because we're bringing all this, it's all about happiness and passion and positivity and growing, instead of this static, stuck kind of where do we go place that a lot of people find themselves in.
I love it. And I want to share a tip I have just in case anyone's listening and they can't connect with the eulogy thing. So there's a couple of people so I'm a big journaler.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of
Me too.
yeah, I know it's so good. And there's two concepts that I've come to know lately. And one of them, this beautiful female founder, she has this journal called The Plot Line. And basically, the idea is that you turn your journaling into it's called like narrative therapy or something like that. And then there's this other concept called quantum leaping, which might be way too woo woo for everybody listening. But the idea is like journaling from the perspective that you have already achieved everything that you set out to. Like it's almost like you're creating this movie of this amazing life that you have lived, all of the things like how you feel, what you have, where you've been, who's in your life, like this whole like super in-depth like movie. And it's almost like perhaps that's the thing that's playing at the end of your life is like, but I love
Mhm.
the idea. I always feel like when I visualize my goals, I visualize myself as if I've already achieved them. So, but I like go, oh my God, tell me about when you did X, Y, Z. And it's like I picture myself in my mind. I'm very fit in my mind because I've clearly gone to the gym a lot. But it is that like this girl, this Danielle of the future is like, oh my God, it's amazing. All of that hard work was worth it. Like you did that. This is the life we have here. This is where we live. Like, and it's so exciting, like having no limits and no cap on this vision for your life. And it always surprises me every now and again. It like changes slightly, and I go, oh, maybe that's something that I want for myself. So I do love that idea of like, at the end, like have that end in mind. What is that end game and what is that like no limits, no holds barred, whatever that expression is, like
Yeah.
go for it. And then how do we actually work back from there in the tiniest way possible?
Well, it's funny what you're talking about because you're talking about the law of attraction. And
Mm,
as soon as you have got a vision that is so clear that it's you can actually feel it and you the energy behind it, it's basically like the nothing else can happen
mm,
because you basically created that moment already. So you're living it like it's already happened. And that is how you manifest everything in your life. So when you're that's in tune and you can feel it, you're automatically going to get it because the universe delivers what you desire. So whether you believe that you can or whether you believe that you can't, you're right because
mhm.
it's and so what you're talking about is basically the law of attraction and that is exactly how you manifest your deepest desires. So there's um there's also other ways that you can do it, but I think that it's fantastic that you do that with your journaling and because you would be so clear and you can feel every detail and it's in your body of how you actually feel. Oh, it's like you've already got it rather than when I get there or when I do this, then I will feel like that. So that is a really powerful tip or trick that you mentioned there. So it's fantastic. So
Yeah, and I love what you just said about the like not delaying the happiness and satisfaction because I find that a lot, people like, well, when I make $1 million, I'll be happy, or when I do this, I'll be happy, or when I do that, I'll be happy. But it's like, if you'll never be happy if you think like that. There'll always be a new, bigger and better goal. But also you are out of alignment with that energy. Like if you think that you're going to be happy when you make $1 million, you better start figuring out how to be happy now because that will bring in the $1 million.
absolutely. Exactly. That is the key. The key is having exactly, eventually getting exactly what you desire, but having that happiness and tuning into that feeling. So, and that's what it is all about because that's where you attract. If you're vibing high, you're attracting high, and if you're vibing low, you're attracting low. So it is. It's a really, really important part. And again, this is for business. This works beautifully in business, but also in your personal life. So
Mm,
it works the exact same way if you're wanting to meet like the person of your dreams and what are the characteristics of this person and how does this person make you feel when you're with them and tuning into that feeling of how it will be when you do meet or attract because that's basically what we do. We attract the person
yes.
that where we're at the time. And so it having an awareness about this. And again, what we were talking about earlier, it all comes back to knowing yourself on a really deep level.
Oh,
So,
I love it so much. This is absolutely incredible. I could literally talk to you all day, and you have made my day just having this conversation with you. But I will wrap up the podcast. So, reflecting on your time in business,
mhm.
now that I know you have two businesses as well, so but reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her journey?
My advice would be being super clear on what it is that you're offering and who you're offering it to, and making sure that it's going to you're going to be in your highest good delivering that. So the trying to make sure that you're supporting yourself and taking care of yourself in that way, whatever product or service that you're offering, that you're putting yourself first. Because once you put yourself first, then everything else falls into place. And I think that it is easy for women in business to be doing all those different aspects, the marketing, the advertising, the social media, and doing all the whatever they're doing within their business, whether it's the coaching or the products or whatever. And we keep putting ourselves on the back burner. And I think our self relationship is the most important relationship that we ever have in life. And we need to treat it like that. We need to prioritize it. So that would be my advice. Prioritize yourself.
Oh my God. I hope everybody listening to this like cancels all of their meetings for the day and prioritizes themselves. I think that you are so spot on. I could not, I know every time I've been out of alignment with products or services, I just start resenting the process and it just doesn't happen. I think I just love that, like figure out and prioritize yourself. You are so amazing, Michelle. I would love to talk to you more, but I will leave it there. Thank you so much for your insights and your wisdom today. You've been incredible.
Thanks, Danny. It's been a pleasure.